We good. And yeah, we finna get with it. Nimrod Decoded. Take this out y'all way so everybody can see. 1, 2. Yeah. Getting right into it. Nimrod Decoded. By yours truly. One more second, matter of fact. Yeah, we're gonna get into the secret identity of brother Nimrod, whose birthday is today, because we all aware that Jesus Christos, Jesus, it's not Jesus' birthday today, is it, Sister Yahsinni?
Absolutely not, because he didn't exist. And
Uh-huh.
even if he did exist, this is not his birthday.
Yeah, you know, but is it Nimrod's birthday today?
It very well is Nimrod's birthday.
I say, and we're gonna get into that secret identity of this bow and arrow shooting, you know, leopard hunting. He didn't play. He was somebody to be feared, for his enemies. And of course they demonize dark skinned people like that, don't they?
Absolutely. Until this day.
Until this day, because a pagan, which these people are always accused of, pagan means a country dweller. A pagan is a person with old time traditions. You
That's right.
know,
That's right.
so if I like the Old Testament, I'm a pagan.
Wow.
Because I don't like the New Testament. Huh? But we're going way back in the Old Testament. We dealing with Nimrod today. And matter of fact, let me go back just right quick to show y'all even Cupid. Cupid is depicted with a bow and arrow, which is very significant with Nimrod.
Wow.
That's what he's famous for, is a bow and arrow. Cupid is depicted with a bow and arrow, a reminder of Nimrod being a mighty hunter. Yeah, that's the whole representation of Cupid. And I'm gonna start off with the myth, and my sister gonna hit y'all with the man, with the facts. The actual factual. But the founder of the city of Babylon is Nimrod Bar Cush. Bar meaning son of
Mm.
Cush, and Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord, and the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh, in the land of Shinar. Out of that land went forth Ashur, and builded Nineveh, and the city Rehoboth, and Calah. Calah is the name that you're gonna hear about a lot.
Mm.
All this about Babel and stuff. It was really Calah or Kalu.
Mm.
The same is a great city. And if you could read this one, next one for him, sister.
So we're dealing with the Assyrian king, Salmaneser, from 1274 to, I can't see the end of that date. It's under the,
1245.
okay. So it built up Calhu into a major city during the Middle Assyrian Empire, which is 1365 through 1050 BC, or before the Common Era. So the king Ashurnasirpal, his son, forgive me on my pronunciations, but he had a son, Salmaneser III, who continued where his father had left off. So at Nimrud, he built a palace that was far surpassed his father's. It was twice the size, and it covered an area about 15 hectares or 12 acres, and included more than 200 rooms. He built the monument known as the banner is in my way now.
Oh shoot, they want to block you at the wrong time.
I
See, he
know.
built the
I'm
monument
trying
known.
to see what monument.
He
What the
built the
monument?
monument known. He built the monument known as the Great Ziggurat, huh? And an associated temple. So I'm already comparing Shalmaneser to Nimrod, and
Okay.
then they saying he, for one, 12 acres is how large his fortress was.
Mm.
12 acres. 1 acre is 90 yards. That is 10 yards away from a football field. So we just said 12 football fields. Huh?
Wow.
Or the things he built the monument known as the Great Ziggurat. And that is what they say Nimrod built. Nimrod built the ziggurat, which is essentially a step pyramid.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Here we
I'm
go.
I'm inclined to ask if Nimrod is related to the Orion or the constellation Orion during
Yeah.
the
See,
long correspondence.
see, right here we getting into his wife, Semiramis, right? And
Mm.
Semiramis is associated throughout different cultures. In the Egyptian culture, we would be talking about Isis or a set. Right now, when we talk about Semiramis, we would be talking about a set. So when
Wow.
we talk about Nimrod, yes, we're talking about Osiris, which is Asar.
Cool.
And that's why this is such a rebirth story, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
Semiramis, yeah, I'm gonna read this and I'm gonna let you get to the real deal. But Semiramis, basically, is the mother and wife of Nimrod, who some call Baal, Baal meaning Lord. And the word Lord is all throughout the Bible. The word Lord comes from Baal. Around that, she was called Ishtar, pronounced
Oh,
Easter in
right.
English, or Astarte, or Ashtaroth, and Isis in Egypt. Now, Mary in Catholic. You think they're gonna denounce Mary because we say Semiramis is you get Mary from Semiramis? You think they're gonna stop dealing with Mary because of that? And that's the same way we are about ISIS. I don't give a you can if you're telling me Semiramis is ISIS, then you just made her even better to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when y'all say, "Oh, she was a demon and they sacrificed children," I never heard they did that with ISIS or Set. I never heard of that. You
Right.
know. But
Or
after,
Mary.
go ahead, sister.
I said or Mary.
Exactly. And Asar either. But they'll say Nimrod. Oh, Baal as Baal, they sacrifice children. Well,
Yep.
we
And
never saw on the
that's
side.
what they don't. That's what they don't want to mess with. Bow.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
don't want nothing to do with him.
yeah. They know because it's these primordial gods.
That's
They
right.
want to get this Johnny come lately. This the newest kid on the block. They want to tell us he God. But after
Yep.
Nimrod's death, Semiramis claimed that she saw a full-grown ever tree spring out of the roots of a dead tree stump, symbolizing the springing forth of new life for Nimrod. On the anniversary of his birth, she said Nimrod would visit the evergreen tree and leave gifts under it. On each anniversary of his birth, December 25th, Nimrod would visit the evergreen tree and leave gifts upon it. And this is written by David J. Stewart and December 24th, 2005. But, it's been said well before him. I'm just quoting
Absolutely.
the information from. And I'm going to let you get this next one from your sister.
Okay, and I'm glad that you just equated the Christmas tree with our old folklore or tales, because there's many versions of why the tree, but that one makes the most sense to me. So Samu Ramat, 811 through 806 BCE, was the queen regent of the Assyrian Empire who held the throne for her young son Adad Nirari III. And that was from 811 through 783 BCE until he reached maturity. She is also known as most notably as Semiramis.
I got one more for you.
There's the little the mother son image I saw. So
Well, I'm gonna let you read this one too about Semiramis.
okay, Samarani, 9th century BC. Assyrian queen. She's the samurai accompanied her husband into battle, greatly expanded Babylonia's control over neighboring territories, irrigated the flatlands between the Tigris and the Euphrates rivers, and modernized the capital, Babylon, including the famous gardens. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and obviously, when they say that she accompanied Nimrod, then obviously we know that this just wasn't a fashion show. You
Right.
know, like for one, we see on the walls we see her and him with bow and arrows. But I'm gonna go even deeper than that. We see it, but we don't see it.
Mm.
You know, we see the name got samurai right there in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
So this warrior wasn't nothing to be messed up. This is female princess. This is where they getting the Xena warrior princess. This is where they get she woman and
Mm.
all them superhero women. They getting it from Semiramis, this samurai of a woman. And that's why they put
Whoa.
the AT or they put the T to make it feminine, trying to say, oh, this is not a samurai, this is a samurai. So
Mm.
that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with, that lady that came and kicked butt in Belly, in the movie Belly. She
Okay.
snuck through the back, quiet as kept. She accompanied Nimrod while he at the front door trying to beat the door down. She then came through the back and slid his throat and opened the door for Nimrod. Like, come on in. I
Oh
took it.
wow. Oh yeah.
So that's the samurai queen, Semiramis. You heard it here first. And then I'm gonna get down to the first Romeo and Juliet story, because when you say something about Nimrod and Semiramis, you have to talk about Dumuzi, which we mostly know as Tammuz, you know,
Mm.
and and it's actually Dumuzi, but Tammuz works, and we know it well like that because actually the name Tammuz is where you get Thomas.
Okay.
You get the name Thomas, which means twin. So
Mm.
getting into it, Tammuz, which was further known as previously known as Dumuzi, was the name of an ancient Near Eastern deity who was best known for his patronage of herdsmen and his romantic entanglement with Inanna, which was the Sumerian goddess of sexual love. See, even Inanna and Semiramis and Astarte and Isis, all of these goddesses are equated as the same,
Mm.
and it's just like saying, in the Hindu culture, they have avatars. So this God came in this avatar. Like, it's just like we reached that level of understanding, knowing that we just in this avatar that we're in right now. It's just a
Mhm.
vehicle. But these people you got to judge them by their deeds. So these are the same God. It don't matter the date and time. The God
Right.
is back. That's why we say we the ancestors return. You
That's right.
know, but Inanna, like I said, being Semiramis and Semiramis being Adi and all of them, and she being Isis and Isis, being Hathor, and getting deeper and deeper, it goes all the way to the beginning. But what I'm getting at is, as a fertility god, he represented the insemination of the mother goddess, as well as the production of healthy children. The best known myth of Tammuz describes his death at the hands of his lover, a punishment earned for his failure to mourn adequately when she became lost in the underworld. The god's sojourn among the dead was commemorated in various forms of human expression, including poetic laments and ritual practice. In his Syrian iteration, Tammuz was incorporated into the Hellenic pantheon as Adonis. Adonis means perfect.
Boom.
Adonis is a name they have in the Bible for God.
Yes.
They say God is Adonai,
Mm-hmm.
Meaning perfect. So a beautiful youth who earned the love of Aphrodite. Aphrodite was, black as night. Obviously the goddess of love. She was so beautiful. The concepts of death and resurrection are tied to the myth of Tammuz. Tammuz was the very first Christ, and we're gonna get further into it, but which first foreshadowed the central role of resurrection in the religion of Christianity. So way before Jesus, there was Tammuz, who represented everything that we know as far as this resurrection story.
I'm already seeing their whole made up um, whited version of
Yeah,
these stories. Serapis just came into my head with that cup on his head,
yeah,
representing a fertility god,
yeah,
which would be the last thing that they should call him if he was predated Jesus. 'Cause Jesus, what
yeah.
they didn't try to put no cup on his head and act like he's a fertility god.
And they want to call us pagans because look at this picture right here. They don't have a head shaped like that. They
Mm,
don't have the head, the skull of the gods, of the Negus,
right.
of the Nettus, the Netaru. They don't have this skull, you know. They, and
Oh, yeah.
they jealous. So they were like, oh, those people pagans. It's a new god in town. It's like it's a new sheriff in town.
Oh, yeah.
And and he looked like me. So they're trying to do away with the old real deal. But I'm gonna just read this middle part because there's a lot of good stuff. If somebody sees it, they can screenshot it, even come back, or maybe in the comment section, you're gonna make me come back right now. But I'm gonna get right here. You see, he carries an ivory wand topped with a pine cone. Hold on, let me get this off the screen. On the end, with a pine cone on the end, identical to one carried by Dionysus or Dionysus. The use of a wand is somewhat similar to multiple depictions of Jesus raising Lazarus or turning water into wine using an auger's wand. People don't read the same Bibles.
Mm.
Some people know that Jesus had some tools.
Question, King.
Yes.
Okay, so it made sure that it said as Jesus is depicted. That means there's a picture of him doing that, but not in your Bible. They
Mm-hmm.
don't. I don't see any relation to Jesus having a magic wand in the text itself.
Mm-hmm.
However, all over the world, they'll show him with that wand, doing things, doing magical acts with it.
And they're saying that was common among Roman priestly class. So that's another thing. Like I was just watching my boy Dick Gregory, Ashe,
Hmm.
RIP to the God. Dick Gregory was saying, we mad at the wrong pale people. Like some people we call them pale, they ain't white. White people, number one, the real whites never have to work. Dick Gregory said, if you don't have trillions and trillions of your dollars in your bank account that you don't need, then you're not white. You
Whoa.
know what I mean? He said the people that we calling white, he said they couldn't they couldn't hurt us if they wanted to. They didn't help us if they wanted to. You feel me? But
Uh,
yeah, the real whites, the Roman priests, they own this. They know the tools. Like you'll see the Pope walking around with the same thing, but we don't even know what that is in his hand.
mm.
We'll be like, we can't connect it with Jesus. We
Or
can't be like
what's on his head.
exactly. And if you can you read this one for me, sister, about who was
At
see
the
because
bottom right.
Semiramis is Semiramis, her husband, which was the was King Shalmaneser, would have to be Nimrod, and he built the great ziggurat just to show that he was who he said he. Well, I'm saying he is. Then Semiramis is who all of these scholars will equate to Semiramis. So that means her son would have to be Tammuz, and that means we're dealing with Adad Nerari.
Mm.
Go ahead, sister.
So Adad Nerari the third was the son of Semiramat and king of the Assyrian Empire and reigning roughly from 805 through 782 before the Common Era. So the Sabas Staley or of Adad Nirara, the
Yeah,
third
of Adad Nerari.
Nerari, recording some of Adad Nerari's campaigns was discovered in 1905 in the Sinjar Mountains of Syria. So every day they constantly digging up our past. Do you want me to continue, King?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so to the god Nebo, who is heroic, exalted, surpassing in wisdom, mighty prince, whose command is supreme, master of the arts, guardian of all heaven and earth, all knowing, whose ear is open, for example, to prayer, who writes the book of man's life and destiny, merciful, approachable, who depopulate and repopulate the land, determines the boundaries of man's habitation, Lord of lords, whose might has no equal, without whom no counsel is given in heaven, merciful, compassionate, kindly forgiving. Trust in the God Nebo. And I've got the banner after due.
Yeah, hold on. See all this good stuff my boy was saying. Lord of Lords, whose might has no equal,
Mm-hmm,
without whom no counsel is given in heaven, merciful, compassionate, kindly forgiven.
mm-hmm,
He say, trust in the God Nebo. Do not trust in another God. This is the words of Adad Nerari, 804 BC. Huh?
mm-hmm,
Trust Nebo alone. See, we just went through Nimrod, Semiramis, Tammuz. Now, somehow, somewhere, I'm going to take you into the connection to Moses. Because now we're talking about the God Nebo. And what does Nebo have to do with anything? Well,
Can
let's
I ask
say
a question? Let me ask a question.
go ahead.
Could is Nebo the authentic thought?
Whoa, how do you know that already?
All those titles that I just read.
I don't know how you know that already. But
Yeah.
like I figured that out going through all this information. You just jump straight into it. For one, like they say he the God of writing and
Yeah.
all of this God of wisdom and God of scribing and everything, like it all come from him. So I'm like, I like in my culture, we call that Tahuti, you know.
Yeah,
But
Tahuti and Enoch and a whole bunch of other
oh yeah,
said greats.
yeah. And
Mm,
Nebo, what he is referred to as Nebo in the Bible, where
mm,
he is mentioned with Marduk, called Baal in
mm.
Isaiah 46, 1 through 2. Mount Nebo, the site from which Moses looked down upon the promised land, and where, according to legend, he is buried. Takes his
Wow.
name from Nabu, the god. Huh?
Mm,
Mount Nebo, Sayaka, memorial of Moses.
mm.
Uh-huh. This is the actual great stone at Mount Nebo. You see this thing they put the light on shining? Hmm?
Yes. Yes.
That is the great stone spoken of. Down here is what's purported as is this possibly Moses' grave? Because this is such a sacred site. And this is the only grave there on the top of this mountain. Is this the grave of Moses?
No.
Is Moses more sacred than you
Probably.
know, Nimrod
I mean, in
or
their
Nebo?
world. Yeah,
Because
I mean, it could be.
I'm
You're
wondering
right.
why they won't verify that and
Mm-hmm.
not the proposed site, but go down there and verify it. They don't
That's
have
real.
any way
Yeah,
of backing up our kings.
exactly. That's
Moses.
for real. And watch this. I'm gonna let you read this from it, sister.
Similar to the rolling stone that sealed the tomb or cave of Jesus, this is the holy stone that covers the tomb or grave of Moses, which is located atop Mount Nabu or Mount Nebo or Nebo, however you want to pronounce it. But it had a biblical significance for being the place where God showed the promised land to Moses. Okay, so Mount Nebo is one of the holiest sites in the modern day country of Jordan. Elements of the Byzantine basilica were uncovered and have been incorporated into the structure of the modern church building known as the Memorial Church of Moses. Hmm. Wow.
Yeah, for real. This is that sacred stone, huh? Because we think of a big boulder covering them inside these cave, tunnel, tomb things. So,
Mhm.
but it's really just a rolling rock, huh? This
Mm.
rolling stone, huh? Ain't nothing but a rolling stone. Yeah, this the rolling stone right here. You know,
Wow.
and this is why these names and words have any kind of a power, because it was spoken of in a relical or a religious sense. These were relics, you know,
Mhm.
ancient relics. So Rolling Stone is still it touches your soul a little bit. It make you want to be a Rolling Stone, and we don't even know who the hell they is. I'm just saying, you know. Yeah.
Wow.
But
So
yeah,
Moses never made it to the promised land, correct?
I mean Mount Nebo. Well, they say he never made it.
Well, in
He
his
didn't-
life,
But
he never
but the
seen it.
place that he saw it, the place that that God talked to him,
Right.
the place that God talked to him, and the place that God showed him, and the place that he died, all was Mount Nebo.
Mm.
You know, so obviously he was talking to the God Nabu. You know,
Oh yeah.
so speaking on that, I'm gonna connect the Tar since we were talking about Tammuz. You
Mm-hmm.
know, the Tar, which that capital T that we see over here, we can see that this Tar is everywhere. It's over here in the Ankh. Hmm?
Mm-hmm.
On top of the Ankh is either the circle of life, how you want to put it. The Ouroboros, the serpent, or the Omega symbol. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we like either way, because the Omega symbol is what they used to cut the umbilical cords in ancient
Right.
time. So that's why it's connected with birth and the beginning. And even though the new cross we know of now still is a tar with a new plank on the top.
Right.
I guess you got to walk the plank. You know, but it's still a tar. But the ancient one is actually the tar with the serpent, not a cross with a serpent, but they made it like that. But this is it. This is the sign of life, the cross of the ancient Chaldeans and Egyptians, at times joined with a circle, like we know the Ankh, to indicate Tammuz's relationship to the sun. Hmm? Sign was believed to have magical powers and worn as an amulet over the heart. Initiates into the mysteries have been baptized with the sign of this cross. The tar was considered to be a symbol of healing,
Mm.
demonstrated by Moses when he held up a tar with a bronze serpent wrapped around it. And all those who gazed upon it were healed. It is similar to the caduceus insignia
That's right.
used by doctors and chemists today. So Moses was a tar wearing, tar creating, Mount Nebo, a prophet, getting all these prophecies on Mount Nebo,
Mm-hmm.
dwelling on Mount Nebo, all these days and nights coming down, you know, coming down with these tablets and all this stuff. Everything happened at Mount Nebo, you
Mm.
know, and obviously the god of writing, Tahuti, who they saying in their culture was Nebo, that god of writing gave him those inscriptions, you know,
Okay.
and that was Tahuti, and we could connect all these dots, then we can get back on track.
That's
as a
right.
people. You know, they don't want us to really learn, because then we'll be like, okay, take our Christianized behind back to Egypt, or you know, back to the ancient ways, become
Oh, yeah,
pagans again. Hey, but
pagans.
see, now we get into the Christmas connections. I just connected the Nimrod and Semiramis and Tammuz and Moses. Now we're gonna
Mm.
connect Christmas with Nimrod. I'm gonna let you tell him about the Yule log and Nimrod and such. Go ahead, sister.
All right, because this is the true meaning of Christmas. So the Yule log is the dead Nimrod, human ruler of ancient Babylon, who was eventually deified as the sun incarnate and hence a god. So the Christmas tree is mystical Tammuz, the slain god come to life again. This is the true origin of the Christmas character we know as Santa Claus, who brings gifts underneath an evergreen tree every year on December 25th, which is very similar to the ruler Nimrod and his son Tammuz. Nimrod is the sun god reborn. December 25th was the birthday of Nimrod, and here we have the real origin of the Christmas tree.
I say, yep.
Wow,
It began with a snake in a tree.
it
It
did.
began with a Yule log.
Hmm.
Everybody, talking about Yuletide, Christmas, and all this. It began with a Yule log representing Nimrod. You know,
Wow.
because being so connected to nature like we were, that's why I connected druids with our culture. Also, they were tree huggers. These people say they got wisdom from trees, and even the Garden of Eden spoke of trees of knowledge and wisdom and life and such. So it's no coincidence. And
So,
Nimrod represents.
so how does Santa Claus get so perverted? Because it's all good right here in
Because
the story,
hey,
and then he
the paler you get, you already know. The paler they get to work. I'm just saying, for real. But yeah, the modern Christmas tree originated in Germany, but the Germans got it from the Romans, who got it from the Babylonians
uh,
and the Egyptians. I kind of put it all at the top a little bit,
mm,
showing you those different ones. But an old Babylonish fable told of an evergreen tree that's excuse me, that sprung out of a dead tree stump.
mm,
The old stump symbolized the dead Nimrod. The new evergreen tree symbolized that Nimrod had come to life again in Tammuz.
mm,
Among the Druids, the oak was sacred. Among the Egyptians, it was the palm. And in Rome, it was the fir, which was decorated with red berries during the Saturnalia.
mm,
The Christmas tree is from Egypt, and this origin dates from a period long anterior to the Christmas era. Did you know this? That the Christmas tree long preceded Christianity? You know,
mm,
long before.
mm.
And this
Wow.
what we're gonna get in. I'm still on the Christmas connections. So I'm gonna show you Saint Nick. It's Saint Nimrod.
Mm,
Because the word or the name Nick is a shortening of the name Nimrod. I'm
mm,
gonna show you right here, and I'm also wanted to show y'all. I'm gonna connect the Christmas hat and everything because the king wears the distinctive attributes of Assyrian kingship, which includes the conical shaped fez hat and long beard. People can't say this ain't no fez.
right.
Anybody who got good sense know that. And for one, like they say, a conical shaped hat, but they even let you know fez, because that's what it is. You know, but
Mm.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna let you read this, please.
So Nicolaitan means a follower of Nicholas. It comes from two Greek words. Nikos and Laos. Nikos means conqueror or destroyer, and Laos means people. The original Nicholas was a conqueror or destroyer of the people. So some people believe that the original Nicholas was Nimrod, the original arch rebel who conquered the people and founded a man made civilization within 2 centuries after the flood, which is Genesis um, chapter 10, verses 8 through 12. So while he was alive, Nimrod was a mighty hunter before the Lord, and that you'll find in verse 9. So Nimrod also had other names. One commonly used throughout Asia Minor was Santa, or Santa Claus, is but a shortened form of Santa Nicholas or Saint Nicholas. December 25th, Christmas, originally was the Saturnalia or birthday of Nimrod. Mm, yeah.
Uh-huh. So I just qualified what I said that Nicholas
Mm-hmm.
mean Nimrod, you know. So it's no different. The Nicolaitans, like these people have a part in the Bible. It's like
Mm,
people read these chapters and they don't even, know who these people are. And I'm not here to crucify anybody they call a pagan, because these crackers call you a pagan. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? So y'all need to stop acting like that's a bad thing. It's not. I'm a pagan. I don't give a crap. I'm
I-
gonna go ahead and tap into the Old Testament if I'm gonna deal with the Bible at all. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna deal with this New Testament.
right.
You feel me? How can I say I'm dealing with my ancestors and I'm dealing with some new and some Johnny come latelys? You feel me? I'm going with the oldest thing we can find. You feel me? Whether we dealing in Samaria with their clay tablets, or we dealing with the Hindu and their text, or the hieroglyphics.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with the old school. So they're gonna call all of these I named. They're gonna call all of them pagans. You know,
Mm-hmm.
got my boy Rael and a few others in the house. Peace to the family.
Peace, Rael.
For sure.
Yeah, you
Let
putting
me.
it all together tonight, D Calico, because
That's for sure.
nobody. People, I think people are afraid to go back and look at history because
Yep.
now they have to admit that everything they know is wrong.
Exactly.
They,
It's always been a lie.
they just accepted it. They didn't go back and do what you just did.
Mm-mm. Period. And I'm showing them some Babylonian headdresses.
Hmm.
You know, and the feds. Being where they even get. The Santa hat and all that from. You feel me? But
Hmm.
even more so, see, I use these to show how they even had a war hat that had the similar shape of Santa's hat. But it gets even better. It get even better because what we calling Santa's red hat. You know, they call it a Mithric cap. They even associating Mithra with Nimrod. Mithra being the sun god,
Hmm.
and that's what Nimrod got equated to because he was held that high. Him and Mithra, or Mithra had to absorb Nimrod's, culture basically, or his proceedings before him, like the things that he's done, they had to engulf all of that, like it was all Mithra. But it's really all stemming from Nimrod, and they just added the lore and the legend to all one God, but it's more than one that they equated to being that high, as Mithra or whatever, like saying Amen Ra, because Amen is not Ra, but Amen Ra, he's the one with, he has the title of Ra, or he has the title of Amen. I mean, Ra has the title of Amen. But anyways,
Hey,
Santa's
hey,
red hat is called a Mithric cap. You want to say something, sister?
yeah, looking at the depictions that they have all the time, why do they look so sinister and
Yeah, yeah.
you know? Why can't they draw like a pleasant face at least one time? They all just look jacked,
Yeah,
like they don't
and
want to be here.
yeah, and this ain't no accident, obviously.
Right.
But Santa's red hat is called a Mithric cap or Phrygian cap or Pileus or freedman's cap, among other names. The origin of this hat, which is commonly worn at Christmas, is truly bizarre. The Santa hat is modeled after the virgin used in the worship of the sun or Mithra.
Mm.
The Phrygian cap was adopted by freed slaves. Like you can't tell me this ain't the hat that every elf, Santa's little helpers and them be having on their head, and what Santa have. It's a Phrygian cap,
Mhm.
and thus this cap became a symbol of liberty. A conical, like the feds, a conical cap with top turned forward. It is, that's like saying the tassel, but without a
Mhm.
tassel. It is often read to signify circumcision and is the origin of the bishop mitre and Rosicrucians and the Rosicrucians hat. Yeah. The bishop's mitre and the
Are they
Rosicrucians hat.
are they using circumcision as in the act of
During the throne.
circumcising a male, or because otherwise that circumcision, if scholars or master teachers are using that word, I think they mean it's a circumcision of the mind, something that takes place in the mind. So I know in the Bible related it to the physical act of, um, you know, chopping the genitals of the male, but in all reality, that circumcision was never meant to even be that.
It's like they say, as within, so without.
Hmm.
That every time we do it, mentally and internally, they're doing it externally to someone. You know what I mean? It's crazy. That's why it's everybody one side of the field, or one side of the coin.
Yeah, they so patriarchal. Everything is patriarchal with them. Like flipping that hat like that for that purpose is it's like wow. They've got genitals on the brain, but
And
yeah,
you mind reading that for me, sister?
yeah. So the presents beneath the pine or Christmas trees, the
Amanita
Amanita
muscaria.
muscaria, aka magic mushrooms. So if Nimrod is associated with Santa and pine trees, then by default or by the occult, he's also associated with magic mushrooms. Now you're speaking
Yeah.
my language.
hmm You know what I mean? Like you can't go through Christmas without seeing the color green, which represents the evergreen tree,
Hmm.
and the red and the white, which ain't no sound. It represent the magic mushroom.
Mm,
You know, that's the colors of Christmas.
that's a
And
new one to me, but I love it.
yeah,
Mm.
and I'm gonna just take it there on the dessert tip on the dessert tip for them. If you don't mind telling them about this, go ahead.
So a Yule log cake representing Nimrod. Okay, the tree is interpreted originally by the occult as a phallus, the ornaments as testicles, and the tinsel as semen. The wreath is a vagina, and together they're fertility symbols. Good Lord! So the
Hey,
Yule-log lore.
hey, see, and the reason I have nothing against this is because I'm look like they always talking about how people the birth rate numbers are down. Well, y'all need to get more fertile. You know, we need to represent fertility.
Oh yeah, we should have Christmas more often.
See, I bet in the New Testament they say have one child or none, because in the Old Testament they said multiply.
Right.
I'm a pagan. Pagans they multiply. They do what the Old Testament tell them. You know,
I can't believe those. Oh, they talking about the balls on the Christmas trees are the testes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Testicles. Wow.
And the tinsel, that silver like string or whatever that we dress it up with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's
the wreath is the vagina. Good. Come on now.
yeah,
Somebody had way
yeah.
too much time on their
Come
hands.
on, somebody. Come on, somebody. Yeah,
Yeah. They did all that to say, let's make a baby or what?
yeah. Yeah, no. Hey, they letting you know, hey,
Yeah.
this is the
So,
honeymoon spot. This is the place for the honeymoon. It's going on right here. Do not
and
disturb.
that explains Saturnalia.
Hey,
Or
that was the first. That was
galore.
the first. That was the first do not disturb sign.
Okay.
You
Wow.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here we go. We ain't got to read all of this because people know who Rudolph is. You know, the most famous reindeer of all. He was born over 100 years after his 8 flying counterparts. You know, it was already 8 of them rocking for 100 years. Then they get this little guy with the red nose come steal the show. You know, the
Mm.
Red Nose Wonder was created by Robert L. May, 1939, etc., etc., etc. You know,
Oh yeah.
I'm bringing them up because we got to connect Nimrod and Christmas more and more. So it's like, dang, Nimrod is connected. Okay, they got the hat for Santa from Nimrod. They got Saint Nick and everything. Idea of this from Nimrod, the
Mhm.
Yule log, all of this, the cross. It's just so much, you know. So
Yeah.
dang, so they got they got a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. What the heck? Does that have anything to do with Nimrod? Let me see. Let me see what D Calico got going. Because if you don't mind reading this right here, sister.
Yep. So it has also been suggested that Nimrod tamed a leopard to accompany him on his hunts for animals, just as people today use dogs for this purpose. This could also be where Nimrod got his name. The Babylonian name for leopard was Nim, and Rod means to subdue.
Mhm.
Come on, the king of etymology.
You know, so
Okay.
we finna find out. We're gonna find out what the red nose is. You know, because when we deal with animals, we got dogs. We done seen dogs that we call red noses. You know,
Mhm.
so we like, I don't expect them to have a clown nose, but I'm looking for what the heck could they be talking about when if there's a leader of Saint Nimrod, you know, where they get Saint Nick, and
Mhm.
Saint Nick's was a Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer. Who the heck was the Rudolph of Nimrod?
Mm.
Well, here goes Nimrod's Rudolph. Hmm?
Oh.
Nimrod's Rudolph. The the very first one we have in the top corner here in this chart shows you what a red nosed leopard looks like.
Mhm.
What a rose nose leopard looks like, a gray nose, a coral nose, a red spotted, a pink spotted, a pink nose, a copper nose, a black nose. So
Mm.
this was the red nose.
Yep.
This is Nimrod's red. This is his Rudolph,
Dang.
the red nose. And Nimrod ain't played.
Far cry from a reindeer, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah. Far cry from a reindeer. You know. But this is how he took over. This is why he was such a tyrant and a mighty hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. My dog he had him on lock. You know, he had a real army with him
Mm.
for real, and they were willing to die for him. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for
So
sure.
yeah. So Nimrod ran things like this. This was the head of his slave. This was the Rudolph of Nimrod. Where we getting this Rudolph the red? No, yeah, wasn't no reindeer. We hunt those down. That's what we feed the leopard.
That's
You
right.
know, they want us to be sheep. They want us to be reindeer. Nah,
Yeah.
We leopards, and like I was watching my brother Crumb's Black Panther presentation. You know, a panther just means a dark leopard. You know, they're all leopards, but if they're dark, if it's black, it's a panther. It don't matter what kind of animal it is. When it's black, you
Mm,
know, that's a panther. You know,
that's right.
so
That's right. And they knew that they couldn't connect to all that melanin, so they went and got them a little rainbow symbol, huh?
yeah,
They're
for real.
not, they're not nature oriented. So once they changed the character from Nimrod to whomever, all the different times, then they have to change that animal too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now we on to the last two little parts. We touch on the treasure of Nimrod,
Hmm.
right?
Oh
Because
yeah, he was
this is
blinking.
an actual place, in modern day Iraq,
Okay.
and I think it's like a few left. I'm gonna let you start it off, and I'm gonna do the next one.
So the golden treasure of Nimrod. Nimrod was an ancient city of Assyria located in the Tigris Valley of northern Iraq. In the 1980s, an incredible archaeological discovery was made, which was comparable to that of King Tut's tomb in 1930s. So this was the royal tombs of Nimrod. However, not as many people have heard of the treasure of Nimrod as that of King Tut. This is probably because King Tut's treasure was toured the world since its discovery in the 1930s, while the golden treasure of Nimrod was only recently discovered and exhibited to the Iraq public for a very short time before war broke out in Kuwait. So Assyria was one of the greatest empires of the ancient Near East around the 14th century BC. So archaeological excavations of other tombs in the mid 1900s revealed ornaments and decorations, but the tombs of the Assyrian queens with their enormous amount of gold were not uncovered until around 1989. So the golden artifacts are thought to be around 2,700 years old.
Yeah,
Wow.
for real. This is real deal.
Mhm.
An actual place. That obviously did a lot of the actual things. That's been speculated. They can prove a lot of things about this area, but they can't prove nothing about no.
It don't look like they whited out those pictures either, from what I
No,
can see.
no, no. They'd
They
rather
left
try
them
to
all
blow.
melanated.
Yeah, they'd rather just try to blow the whole building up. You know, just drop a bomb on. They tired of us. They're like,
Oh yeah.
man, like whoa. And then it be people who's not even our color been protecting these buildings all these years, and they be like, what the heck? You mean Saddam was protecting this?
What?
Like, man, what is Saddam them protecting these niggas for? You know,
Okay.
So all the other parts were even China. China has pyramids. They say they will not unearth because humanity is not ready. You know,
Oh,
and
wow.
China don't want to say, yeah, man, everybody came from black because y'all Caucasians, y'all are Caucasus Asians. So y'all come from us. Y'all are Asians. So guess
Mm-hmm.
what? The Asian comes from that nigga. Like they don't want to tell them that.
Right. Right.
Because then they gonna be like, oh my gosh, I thought I came from Asians. No, the Asians came from niggas too. You know?
How sad and disappointed they must be looking at history, real history.
I mean, if I was them, I'd smile. I'd be like, I'm 199th nigga. You know, somewhere, somehow, some way. I got some. I got a drip. I got that drip.
Okay. For real. Get in where you fit in, huh?
Yeah, you gotta have that drip. Hey, I'm gonna be the only one with a limp when I walk. You know, I'm like, I can feel it. You know,
For real.
yeah,
They'll get it right one day.
for real. But
Sometime soon.
unearth,
Though.
Unearthed in 1988 by Iraqi archaeologists, 613 pieces of gold jewelry, precious stones, and ornaments from the height of the Assyrian civilization in 800 BC conforms the famous Nimrod treasure. The pieces
Mm,
include a queen's golden crown, white marble jars, gold plates, and engraved silver pitchers. Together, the pieces
mm,
weighed well over 100 pounds and were discovered not far from the legendary city of Nineveh. After being rescued from a flood in the central bank vault, it just so happened a flood, came
mm.
towards the bank. Hey, open the dam that way, just like they did in New Orleans.
Okay.
Like we gonna flood the projects. Hey, you know what? We gonna flood the bank. I heard they got all that jewelry from Nimrod. You
Yeah.
know, hey, after being rescued from a flood in the central bank, we lost half of it, but I found 100 pounds. Anyway,
Right.
they are in display again in Iraqi museum. This one here is playing in it real cute, but it was actually stolen a
Mm,
long while, and it took them like 20 to 30 years before they got the drops on them, and then they finally swooped in. And by the time they had to go in, they had to kick in a bank, but I guess they kicked it in a smart way. They sent the flood, and then they
mm,
got they reconfiscated it, and now they hold it to this day in their little museum.
mm,
And the rest of
mm.
it, they probably sitting up. But I was gonna read this one because I know it's kind of hard and let you knock it out. Because this is the last slides. We're gonna take y'all deeper into the city of Nimrod to Mount Nimrod. We already
Mm.
been to Mount Nebo. We introduced you to the real Nebo. You better tuck your chain, you know, for real. I
Oh
know
yeah.
you ain't got Jesus. I know you ain't got Jesus Christos coming around Nebo. Hey, you better tuck your chain. Nebo, hey, Nebo coming, you better tuck your chain. You
That's right.
know, hey, for real. They better not have came, they better had an ankh on, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But Mount Nimrod or Mount Nimrod, I'm gonna say is the real Mount Olympus.
Mm.
In 62 BCE, King Antiochus, or the first Theos of Commagene, he had common genes.
Mm.
You gotta read them there. You gotta read them. Because
Okay.
he's a god. Theos meaning gods. King Antiochus the first, gods of the common gene, built on the mountaintop, a tomb sanctuary flanked by huge statues, 8 to 9 meters high, which is 26 to 30 feet, of
Whoa.
himself, huh? Because they say this was Nimrod. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
they were saying that, and we be thinking that, over here in this part of the world, we barely know what we got over here, but we
Right.
definitely don't know what the rest of the world have, because we be thinking ain't nothing but Omeg heads, ain't nothing else. Nobody else never did this but us. Man,
Mm.
them people been doing this too. We all the same people. You
Mm-hmm.
know, to them you a pagan. All you pagans created all of these monoliths and megaliths and structures. They
Yeah.
hated us for this. You know, that's why we say our history is in stone. We can't just say just our American history is in stone.
Right.
Our world history is in stone. When you see
Not
this,
only
don't yeah. Go ahead,
and not
sir.
only in stones, but it brings to mind the 12 monkey theory. You know,
Hmm.
we got the same ancestors flowing through. When you go to the beginning, and so we all have some of the same genes, ideas, thoughts. So while they're building over here in America with the Olmecs, they're over in Assyria doing the same type of stuff. They're in Egypt building the same type of stuff. And that's how, that's the 12 monkey theory. Like, how did one monkey know to peel his banana? I mean, how all the other monkeys know to peel that banana if they didn't see it? The one
Hmm.
monkey do it. So we're
Hmm.
connected in so many ways.
Yeah, I like that
Oh, yeah.
for sure. And he had huge statues, not only himself, Nimrod deified. We talking about Zeus. We talking about Apollo, Mithras. This was the Mount Olympus of
Mm,
that time. You know, like can't nobody say they did this. this but Nimrod, or the land of Nimrod, and it's just strange to me. That's why I know a lot of our culture is still in that culture.
Hmm.
Egyptologists would literally tell you know, Tahuti is Hermes in Greece. You feel me?
Hmm.
They'll tell you that, and then will tell you don't study Greece. You know, like man, you study Hermes basically, but you just told me that's Tahuti. You'll tell me Buddha
Right.
is Tahuti and tell me don't study Hindu, don't study Buddha. You know, Be
Right.
like, man, I'm everywhere Tahuti at. You
Okay.
know, so the god Nebo ran this land. You know, he was the
Mm.
scribe of the gods. So it's no problem having a multiplicity of gods. We polytheistic. You feel me?
And so,
So
did it say that he came back through his son,
uh,
Tammuz? Did he
what about Tammuz?
reincarnate? Is he coming back?
Oh man, I think I'm here right now. I think I'm here right now talking and killing with y'all. You know, for real.
Okay.
You know, I'm really feeling that. And like I said, we only think about Olmec heads and stuff. And the only reason this stuff looks like this because they dropped bombs on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they was pretty mad. They got tired of seeing this. The Arabs over there, they're like, this ain't got nothing to do with Allah. God
Mm.
dang it, I've been tired of looking at this for all these days. Y'all treating it like it's somewhere to come visit. This ain't no tourist attraction. We finna drop a bomb on it. So when they dropped the bomb on it, made the people stop being religious and turn gangster. Now they got to have an army out there at
Mm.
all times. Keeping the land at least from getting bombed again. You
I
know,
wonder if some of that stuff must be indestructible because it's still standing.
exactly, exactly. It's just showing that we was made of stone. We wouldn't. Hey, it'd be hard to blow us away. You know what I mean? For real.
Mm.
At least I still be like, y'all still be sitting there talking smack. Be like,
Okay.
nigga, you ain't did nothing. Da, 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 da. You ain't got nothing but your head left. Still talking crap. Hey, for real. But
Was
it's
that
like
you?
that.
Did you make a video about the rocks being alive? Was that
Oh
you?
yeah, we was talking about that on Zelda. And I think Chrome actually recently did a video like that.
Oh.
After a post I had made kind of inspired my brother. He already was, he
Hmm.
be on that. But
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
But obviously we can see the head, that that headdress, that fez sitting
Yes.
on sitting on my boy Nimrod. And some of these other ones over here, we can see the Egyptian like crowns, even though we calling them Zeus and Mithras and all this. And we act like we don't see Ra and Mithra. It's just like when I
Okay.
say, Amen and Ra. People not seeing the duality. They're not seeing, one. They're not seeing the titles on display. They think it's all one word. But
Right. And Christians
we
don't even think it's a person or a deity.
yeah,
When they say amen, they think they saying so be it or something they made up, but they don't even see it as a
yeah.
deity or a spirit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's just like Healy O's. You know, we
Yes.
got the Healy is already the word, holy and halo and all of that.
Mm.
But then you put the O, representing that serpent, that circle, that sun,
Mm.
you know, that's that circle. That's why we're saying Healy O's, so
Mm.
all these words can be broke down. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
They got to be broke down because they ain't, it's not necessarily one word.
Right.
And we'll see that same word inside other words. It meant something anciently. Nowadays, we think it don't mean nothing. I'm gonna let you cap it out on the end of this Mount Nimrod.
Well, all right. So 40 kilometers north of Qatar, Turkey, lives Mount Nimrod, a mountain adorned with the fragments of vast statues built over 2,000 years ago. The stone sculptures once stood nearly 10 meters high and depicted lions, eagles, various ancient gods, and King Antiochus. First Theos, who ruled Commagene from 86 BC to 38 BC. Ruins of the bodies of several sitting figures are visible on the hill above, illuminated by moonlight. That's got to be a sight.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah, those statues are pretty tall. It's up there.
And this is pretty much the conclusion of Nimrod Decoded 2.0, of course.
Hmm.
And it's only gonna get deeper. You know, whatever may be next, y'all be ready. We stay in that cult. Y'all already know how it is. And this was it. Uh, let me show you one more time. This is definitely this was definitely an installation of the Calico and Yahsinni show. You know,
Right.
Nimrod Decoded 2.0. If you want to tell the people where they can find you, sister, and definitely where they can find that beautiful jewelry.
Oh, absolutely. You can find me and my channel on YouTube as Denise Grant with the white dove in the blue sky. You can find me on Facebook, and you can find my store page on there, which is Simply Stoned. That's me wrapping the crystal healing stones and copper. And also, you can find all kinds of contact information in any of my latest videos on YouTube, including where to buy my books, how to get to Yahsinni University, and my store called Simply Stoned. And I really appreciate you contacting me, King Calico. This was very interesting today. Learned a lot.
That's for sure. We gotta put the nail in the coffin.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And I appreciate you. I couldn't have had a better co-host. And I'm glad this was an installation of the Calico and Yashini, the Yashini show. So
Oh, yeah, with much more to come.
until next
Much more.
until next time, peace and love.
Peace, bro.